evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the worst pal in the game, Shadowbeak. He's absolutely terrible. I don't know why people like him. It's just, you know, I'm just gonna say that off. I'm just kidding. He's definitely one of the best pals in the game, hands down. Strong defense, strong attack, great health pool. Like, you just can't go wrong with Shadowbeak. Shadowbeak is an absolute powerhouse when it comes to Power World, and with an enhancement to dark damage included with a bred down from Necromus, Lord of the Underworld, that is a big buff to his damage. One of the main things that makes him one of the strongest pals in the game is his exclusive skill with Divine Disaster. It hits like a train. It is very, very hard hitting and does a lot of damage very quickly. With this in particular one that we are looking at, I have named it Night Lord. This was not my original. My original was Murder in the Night, and the reason why we redid this one is because the health pool wasn't that great, and this was one that I bred like early into the game's like history, essentially, where I wasn't really looking at the IVs. The only IV that I was actually looking at was the attack power, and the only way that I was looking at it was first off of the Born. When you're looking at the attack power, when you look at some of the level 1s and everything, which I don't know if I have anything. Here we go. Yeah. If you look at the attack power as their base, this is 110. That's pretty good. As we can see, as the actual IV says, as 87. So 110 is pretty good for Verdash. With the Shadowbeaks, it's like 113, if I'm not mistaken. 112, 113 is like really high when they're in their early stages. We're sitting at 7,029 health, 1,791 attack power, and 1,344 defense. And with the defense and the health pool being that high off rip, if you were to get an alpha one of these just through breeding, it would be even better, of course, but it's just going to be insanity at that point, because I'm pretty sure, if calculations are not incorrect, we would be at almost 8,000 health. The only other pal that would be comparable to Shadowbeak is Frostallion Knock, and with Frostallion Knock, the only thing that you're really lacking is that Divine Disaster. Advantages with Frostallion Knock over Shadowbeak would be the fact that it applies the dark damage to you, and you yourself can do a lot of the damage. But for an overall just damaging pal, Shadowbeak is just unmatched in my opinion. I mean, this is a pal that I can take without even stacking any animals behind it and one-shot Blazemut. That's how strong he is. He's usually the one that I'm taking out whenever I'm power leveling pals as well. Like, I go over to Blazemut, one-shot him, and then go over to Astagon, one-shot him, and with my increase to XP, usually by that time the pal's up to level 50. So there's like no problem with that. But when it comes to Shadowbeak, we will be testing him today, as always. We already know that he's a powerhouse, and if you don't know, then now you do. I am a huge fan of him. Aesthetics as well. Always a good little color combination with that kind of teal turquoise kind of deal with the little seat on the back. Not bad for speed and stamina. Pretty quick, even when he's running on the ground. He has a little bit of a slower acceleration when he's turning around, but that's easily outdone by his massive amount of power. He is a literal tank. With Shadowbeak being a flyer as well, you can run him with a 4-stack of Hookertees, which cranks up his attack power to 2,635. And then if we give him a burger, we're sitting at 3,162. So this is about the same attack power when it comes to Blazemut and the Yormintide Ignis. I think they're a little bit higher. I think Yormintide might be 3,300 and something, but Yormintide is also very squishy. With 100 IVs, he's only at like 1,000 defense. So health pool's there, but the defense isn't. So you can fix that with a rush or hot dog, but you're not getting the benefit from the burger, so you're losing out on some attack power, on and so forth. But regardless, one of my pals is sick. He seems to get an ulcer every 3 days. Now, as far as work suitability when it comes to the Shadowbeak, it is nothing special. He only does gathering, and even after a 4-star, it's only a gathering 2. So he is primarily and utilized only as a battle pal, as the way that I would put it, just war mount. But as always, we will test him against the gauntlet here. We have Blazemut here, and I'm going to try to one-shot him with Dark Ball. Oh, that isn't Dark Ball. Well, Nightmare Ball. Well, not quite, but you get the point. We are on fire. Didn't even get a solid hit on. Blaze him up with the dark laser and still managed to take him down pretty quickly. Next up, we have Frost Stallion. This one is at a 99 health, 81 attack power, and 54 defense. So we'll start off with a little Divine Disaster. A little dark laser. Oh, well, canceled out the dark laser. I could hop off of him and he could do that again. That's all she wrote, folks. Alrighty, pretty quick battle right there with Frost Stallion. Alright, so we have Jet Dragon here. Now, Shadowbeak is actually weak to Dragon, considering that it's dark, but with a decent amount of defense that it already has, we are going to crank up that defense by putting a Rush or Hot Dog on him and set at 1,612. That way, we can guarantee that we will get through this. There you go. Lost a a lot of health, but we ended up beating him. And that's a tough fight right there, especially for something that's completely weak against it. Frost Stallion Noct has a decent amount of trouble with that as well. But with the power of a Rush or Hot Dog and a lot of prior defense, we did it. Not too shabby. All right, so we have Paldius and Necromus here. For some reason, Paldius is just kind of creeping over here. I guess he wants a little bit of it. We redid our burger onto our Shadowbeak, and since he's just over here, we'll take him out pretty quickly. And as you can see there, very quick fight. We didn't lose hardly any health on that one. We did well. And just before dark, the one final test, we're going to put him against himself. I have taken a lot of damage. Go concentrate on him. That's not good. Yep, I might end up dying in this one. Really need to get my shield back up. Okay, shield's back up. He's really not taking much damage. I, however, am taking a lot of damage. Where are you going? What the? Just did that twice. All right, we were able to re-heal back up fairly okay. Wondering why we weren't on the ground. So there you have it. Shadowbeak taking on the Gauntlet. Put him against Blazamut, Frostallion, Jetragon, Paldius and Necromus, and the final Shadowbeak himself, and managed to perform well in all. I'd say the Jetragon fight was definitely a little one-sided. Had to manipulate quite a bit there, but even with that, able to do fairly well. So, in conclusion, is Shadowbeak worth it? Yes. I have no other explanation other than literal footage. I mean, I've talked about it at the beginning. Great health pool, great defense, great power. The enhancement to Dark along with Lord of the Underworld on him makes for a very strong PAL. Cannot go wrong. If you have not bred up one, I suggest you do so, but I would be a little surprised if you haven't already, especially watching my channel for as long as you have. But to the new people that have maybe just started up PAL World, this is something that you should be kinda going for. And to get a Shadowbeak, as far as breeding purposes, you need to breed a Kitsun and an Astagon, and you can get a Shadowbeak. Astagon can be bred for, or you can find them over here on this island. Don't know what level I think they spawn in at like 30 something, if I'm not mistaken. Or alternatively, you can go after the boss, which is level 48. He is Dark and Dragon, and Kitsuns can be found up on top of here, and they spawn at night, if I'm not mistaken. It's usually when I find them over there. Yes, they are nocturnal, and they are right over there. There you go. So you can see it a little bit better over at the small snow. Other than that, if you guys enjoyed this video, drop a like. If you guys enjoy my content, drop a sub, and write down in the comments down below what your thoughts are on Shadowbeak. Other than that, keep your willy washed, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.